Divine Masculine Collective, welcome, welcome. I'm Nikki, your local vegan tarotist. So I was getting this song, Chattahoochee, Alan Jackson, AJ. I learned how to swim and I learned who I was. A lot about living and a little about love. Somebody might like country music, but I'm getting... This could be an older love, if not in this lifetime. Someone that you knew. Excuse me, that was weird. There was like this buzzing. I mean, I'm congested right now, but there was like a buzzing up my nose. Someone may have been into some seedy activities. This could be somebody that you knew from like your party days. But there's something about water. Maybe you grew up around like a body of water, tire swings, or like a quarry or some sort of river, stream, some sort of water where I feel you may meet this person, or it's going to take you back to a time and place that's very nostalgic, feels very healing and makes you feel like a child again, when maybe you used to play and just sort of like let your hair down and feel free. And I'm getting now and then. So there is some sort of reflection on a past life or a past version of you. So again, that could be past life, that Six of Cups energy, that this is making you feel like a child again. We do have the sun at the bottom of the masculine deck. So I was getting that song, and then I was getting from Ever After the line, "The point, gentlemen, is that they lived," right? So I learned how to swim and I learned who I was. A lot about living and a little about love, right? So it's like, yes, there's going to be love here, and this is your soulmate. But I feel like this person is going to kind of teach you how to live. You could have felt, masculines, like you haven't been living, you haven't been thriving, you've just been barely surviving, just kind of going along through the motions. And this person is going to reignite something in you that makes you feel like, I'm excited to be alive, I'm excited to experience things. You could have felt sort of dead inside. Temperance here, so we've got Leo and Sagittarius energy, so this is a lot of fire and chemistry, a lot of inspiration, excitement. Sagittarius is like the Knight of Wands. It's like a new inspiring idea. King of Pentacles, this could be somebody that you want to collaborate with in work. You could have strong earth placements, masculine, or fixed placements in your chart. But this is inspiring you to try something new, to learn a new skill, or to maybe like dip into something that you used to do, that used to bring you joy, maybe when you were a child. But it's like this person, this is earth energy, so this feminine feels very grounding, but also like a star. I'm getting the star is Aquarius energy. It's also very healing. So you or your person could have Aquarius placements, or again, more fixed and earth placements there. The King of Pentacles is Taurus energy. We have the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom. So this is like, there's a lot of fire and exciting energy. But this is a very, fire is the most masculine of the elements, and earth is the most feminine. Water and air being the sort of androgynous, ambiguous ones. They are more fluid or more malleable between the two. Okay, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Empress almost popping out there. So this feminine is really calling you, masculines, to, when I said fix yourself. And this doesn't mean necessarily that you're broken, but you could have felt that way, masculines. You could have felt like you were broken or like you needed fixing, because the Eight of Pentacles is somebody like working on something, working on a skill, working on their house, their home, their heart space, right? Their health, their fitness maybe, right? Their overall wellness, because Pentacles are about health and wealth as well. Ten of Wands, you could have been overworking masculines. We have the World. This is like a whole new world. This is somebody who's inspiring you to go from being like Aladdin, the street rat, right? And just sort of like doing what you have to do to get by, to get bread for the day, to like turning you into Prince Ali, right? Turning you into royalty, right? And when he marries the princess, he's going to become a king as she becomes the queen, right? So, and see, Jack, there's that name Jack, Alan Jackson, Jack's son. Maybe somebody's father's name is Jack. Maybe you have a son named Jack, but the son is also Leo. But he just made a little sound, and it sounded like a buzzing. There's some sort of buzzing. A buzzer is going off. The timer's going off. Somebody, it's like those brownstones in a city. Maybe you live in like a city or a metropolitan area where you have, like, you live in an apartment building or some sort of building where it's like that bzzz, like a buzzer. Yeah, there's something with a buzzer that's also like in Aladdin. Be yourself. So this is a reminder, like the bee, like the genie. You have like your ancestors are like buzzing you. They're saying, make sure you be yourself. Make sure you're not, because Aladdin, he does fake who he is. She fell in love with the street rat. She fell in love with who he was, not his money or his wares, also because she was a princess. So that was not something she needed. She didn't need that, right? So if you're dealing with someone who's an empress, we've also got the Queen of Swords at the bottom here. This is someone who's setting boundaries, like, I'm only going to listen to somebody who's here to tell me the truth. So this is somebody who wants you to be honest, be yourself. Temperance, more Sagittarius energy. This is about someone who's tempered their ego, who has, see how they're filling their own cup back and forth. This is somebody who's emotionally self-sufficient, someone who's like regulated. I get that there's a need to self-regulate, and to not be anything else. Like when you're your authentic self, because temperance is also your highest self. If you've tempered your ego, you've tapped into your highest self. Ace of Wands. There's a purity here, a shedding. A shedding of the lining, because I'm getting red wings, right? Which makes me think of a menstrual cycle. It also gives me Red Bull, gives you wings. So again, more Taurus energy. But the shedding of the lining is what a menstrual cycle is. All right, it's also linked with the moon. Your moon placement could be very important here, or you or your person could have a strong Cancer or Pisces placements. But shedding of the lining, the lines, I'm getting like lines. Maybe you are very good, masculines, at like spinning lines, spinning a web. More Pisces energy with the spider there. But like there's some sort of like spinning, like maybe you're just very good with your words and that's served you very well. But a Queen of Swords is going to see through that, because this is somebody who is discerning about the words that come in. And even though she is the Queen of Words, she's the Queen of thoughts in all things that swords are related to. Very intellectual and discerning about that. This is somebody who needs action. Like, I'll listen to what you have to say, but this is somebody who needs action. which is why I feel this feminine is calling you to be your higher self. They're tempering your ego because you can't just play the old tricks. You know, I saw an interview with, in one of my favorite movies, Signs, by M. Night Shyamalan. So something about maybe Monday night could be important. M. Night, Monday is moon day, so there is also like more moon energy there. But in Signs, yeah, it's like this feminine, also fools rush in. There are signs everywhere. Maybe the name Isabella, or like, I mean, Salma Hayek, and then Matthew Perry. Like they're zodiac signs. I'm not sure what their zodiac signs are, but maybe they're zodiac signs, or what are their names? Isabella is hers because he sees her name all the time. Love, it's a gift, Alex. It's not an obligation, right? But Fools Rush In, Elvis, he, I believe, is like he might be January 8th Capricorn. Maybe like peanut butter sandwiches or peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Also that movie, they talk about the sandwich that they found like pounds and pounds of this disgusting sandwich. It's so gross. But it's like butter and bacon, which obviously, I mean, if you want to veganize that, go ahead. I don't think it's going to be healthy regardless of how you do it. But the movie, oh gosh, what is it? They meet as friends, and it's Daniel Radcliffe. Rats. You could be Year of the Rat. He meets her at a party. They're friends of. She's like the cousin of his best friend's girlfriend, or something like that. So this could be like, some people could be setting you up on a blind date, or you could meet this person at a party. You can meet them at some sort of event. They could be friends of a family. Friends set you up with this person. It could be their family member. But yeah, in Fools Rush In, the signs, there are signs everywhere to help you on your way. This person is showing you how to read the signs, how to listen to the signs. Again, I feel like you were just in this like monotonous humdrum, and this person ignited something in you. This feminine has ignited something in you that is inspiring you to make this positive change in your life. What is that movie? It's so cute too. They have a very snarky, like funny banter, but they're friends. There could be a third party here. Somebody could be in a connection when you meet, because that is what happens in that movie. She is with some guy when she meets him, and then he gets like friend zoned or whatever, and he thinks he's okay with that, but then he's not okay with that, because let's be real, how often does that actually work? My right eye is twitching here. That might have triggered somebody. Get over it. All right, Three of Wands. So this is somebody making moves. This is, again, with that Eight of Pentacles, this is the action. I'm getting the movie Where the Wild Things Are. Maybe somebody here likes really like romantic comedies, or kind of like deep. Yeah, that would make sense. We have the Hanged Man and the Hermit. So that's Pisces and Virgo with that Three of Wands. So like somebody's moon sign is like casting contemplative energy here, and it's something about the childhood here, something about like issues on the feminine, which if you have like issues with the feminine, maybe your mother, right, that might kind of cast a strange light on the types of feminines that you should pursue. So maybe because I am seeing someone who's waiting, because the Three of Wands is usually somebody making moves. I mean, you could be moving to be near this person, right? There could be a move involved here. Distance. Or maybe you're wanting to move in with this person, right? But we have the Hanged Man, which is like someone who's taking their time, which would also explain that like romantic side of things, because Pisces energy is very romantic. They're the dreamers, the idealists. They're also like, they look back quite a bit on nostalgia, right? Because things ahead don't typically, you could be someone who was like very ruminated a lot on the past, because where you have been since then and where you have kind of seen your life going since then doesn't look that exciting until you've met this person. And it is the boundary that this feminine sets, because it's clarifying the Queen of Swords here. I almost said the Queen of Wands. But the Queen of Wands requires action, right? The Queen of Wands gets what she wants, and the King of Wands goes after what he wants. So this is somebody who's requiring that fire energy. And if you're in this mutable energy, that's that water and air. That's that ambiguous, androgynous, half in, half out, could go either way kind of energy. But see, this is also somebody who's not looking at the clock. So maybe not looking behind them. And that is clarifying the Queen of Swords. So it is like this feminine has made this masculine, made you masculine, stop looking at the past and start looking in the future. There's still a little bit of a holdup, but the Hanged Man in their highest form, right, is somebody who other people might look at like, why are they hanging upside down? Why are they doing things their own way? Why are they doing things differently? Because they know what they're doing. They have a different vantage point because they have the open-mindedness to look at things in a different perspective. So you're somebody masculine who's like, you're not completely closed off to this. You're very open to the idea of this. But there is a little bit of a holdup because with the Temperance here, we have the Hermit. So there's some things I feel that through the shadow work, right? Because the Hermit, Virgo energy is the self-inventory. There are certain things, and there's also Pisces energy here, which Virgo and Pisces are polarity signs. So there's something about looking within here. Also, the artist Zero, Z-Z-E-R-O, sings a song. Polar, he's a French artist. He used to be on YouTube, and then his music just disappeared. I think he might still be on Spotify. But if you can find him, link it below, because holy crap, I love his music. And then I was subscribed to his channel and it just disappeared. Just disappeared. But yeah, Polar. So this person could be your polar sign, or they feel like your polar opposite, which is challenging you to look at things that you didn't necessarily want to look at, or when you started looking at them, you're like, ooh, yeah, this is inspiring. And once you got into it, you're like, oh gosh, there's a lot in here that I gotta work on. So that could be the holdup, because you're like, this feminine is calling you to look at that stuff. Ace of Cups, they're calling you to fill your own cup. This is self-love. Masculines have a hard time with that term typically because they're masculine. And self-love feels a little like wasteful, right? It's something about planes, because, and that could be that distance or that move, because I am congested again, but it's like I keep having to pop my ears. So there's like this coming down out of the clouds, possibly. That could be literal, or that could be like, get your head out of the clouds. And that's what maybe self-love always felt like. It felt like frivolous. Like As a masculine, you think more intellectually. You're like, my time could be better spent doing this and this and that. But you will not have the energy to do things masculine, to do all things masculine, if you do not nurture yourself, which is why you're realizing, and this is why you're taking this temperance, this Sagittarius approach to filling your own cup, to nourishing yourself, right? So instead of thinking of it as self-love, think of it as self-maintenance, right? Intellectually, vehicles don't run. Mechanical, masculine things don't run. Maybe you like guns, right? They don't run, they don't work if you don't clean them, if you don't maintain them. You need to do these things, right? And with this purity robe here, and the triangle, it's like the Holy Trinity, cleanliness is next to godliness. So there's a need to clean up your mind, your body, and your spirit. You need to give yourself a spiritual bath, right? You need Jesus. I'm also thinking of the movie Ghost, where Whoopi Goldberg goes, you can't say it like that. And then she says the same thing. He's like, tell her, Molly, you're in danger. Molly, Demi Moore, you're in danger. And Whoopi's like, you can't. And her name is Oda Mae Brown. The color brown could be important here. Brown-eyed girl. Give me a redneck girl. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of like country songs. But where she's like, you can't just blurt it out like that. Molly, you in danger, girl. She says the same thing, but she just says it in a way that's like, so something about you're getting, it's like the same message, but it's more relatable, or it's softened in a way. Just like that flip, which is also the Hanged Man. It's like flipping the perspective of how you see things. 22 on the clock there. So instead of calling it self-love, if you call it self-maintenance, suddenly it clicks into place. And it's like getting a move on. Get a move on. I need some water. Yes, Matriarch of Vessels. That's the Queen of Cups. The Sun at the center. The Sun is a very common theme here, because this is the happiest card in the deck. This is like all the dreams coming true. Victory. Six of Wands. Self-recognition. You are not taking care of yourself. You do not love yourself. This feminine is calling you to love yourself. Masculines. I always say this when people that I care about are talking shit about themselves. I'm like, don't talk about my friend that way. I'll beat you up if you talk about my friend that way, you know? So it's like you have friends in the ethers, or you have ethereal friends, terrestrial friends, you have friends. Also a country song, I've got friends in low places. You've got friends in high places, right? Queen of Cups. She's sitting here like, look at her. You gonna fill this cup or what? There's like a lot of sarcasm here. Also the Queen of, I keep wanting to call her the Queen of Wands. This feminine could have strong fire placements, but they want that action. Is it Terror in the, is it Terror Squad? Who sings that? Action. I don't know the words. Oh, King of Wands. Yeah, this feminine wants their King of Wands. They want action. Come and get it. There's something. King of Cups. Queen of Cups is saying, come and get it. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is emotional. Come and fill my cup. This feminine's a little bit of a freak too, because I'm getting something else from that look. She's like, the name Chris. I keep getting the voice from Family Guy. You know, he's all like, he's pervy. We got the Queen of Swords again. Justice. So there could be Libra energy here, which is Empress energy. There could be a Libra around this connection. But see, she went from having one sword and her hand out to like 2 swords. This is a feminine who's saying you need to choose, because Two of Swords is a choice. Justice. There needs to be balance here. Justice is also about karmic cycles. Are you giving to a karmic cycle, masculines? Because this feminine's not going to deal with that. Divine does not give to karmic cycles. Divine energy is about dharma. Karma is of the past and attachments. Dharma is of the future and connections. Progress. This feminine wants progress. Four of Cups. Four of Cups is somebody who is waiting for the right cup. This is somebody who doesn't settle. You might see this feminine as having a lot of options. And we've got the Hermit again, more Virgo energy. Waiting for something to be perfect. Masculines, if you are waiting for your self to be perfect, that's not going to happen. And ironically, or not so ironically, this feminine already thinks that you're perfect. Again, Jasmine thought Aladdin was perfect as he was. She loved him just as he was. And it was when he put on that front, when he put on the show and he had all this stuff and he was a Prince Ali Ababwa, a Prince Ali Abubu. Or Jafar says, it's time to say goodbye to Prince Abubu. Yeah, it's time to say goodbye. If you're putting up some kind of pretense, masculines, knock that shit out. This feminine's not going to bite that. Right? The only way to catch an uncatchable woman is to offer her a wedding ring. It's from my favorite movie, Big Fish. More water energy. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah. Oh, there's a little skull in that I never noticed. So there has to be an ending. Excuse me. That kind of looks like one of those seeds. It also looks like an owl, which is more Sagittarius energy. And it is, so you or your person could have strong Sagittarius placements. But there is like a wisdom here. And is that it's not a Buckeye. Something about Ohio possibly. But that is some kind of seed. I don't know what seed that is. But it has like the two, it looks like an owl face. Which also gives me like Page of Swords. Like somebody watching somebody. Gathering information. Scorpionic energy. Which is, they have the furthest vantage point of the solar system. They're like way out here. They're super misunderstood. You could feel misunderstood by those around you, but not by this feminine. This feminine gets you. But that's why they're not going to play any games, because they know what you're capable of. They know that you are capable of being your highest self. But they're not going to just stick around and like give energy to your lowest self, 28 on the clock there. You need to meet them where they are, right? They're not going to meet you where you are, masculines. Because you can't do the work for anybody else. You have to do the work. That's the Eight of Pentacles and the Hermit here twice. That is the shadow work. You have to do the work. You have to fill your own cup. You have to resist temptations. That is what temperance is about. It is about resisting temptations and restraining from lower vibrational behaviors, thoughts, and substances possibly, cycles. And it is healing. I called the witch doctor. He told me what to do. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Oh, there's something about sexual healing here. Oh no, I said a dirty word. But, oh well. And that's another thing too. It's like, bring all of your imperfections, because they think that you are perfect if you come to them authentically. If you put on this farce, if you put on this shield you think makes you look like some sort of knight, they're going to see right through that. They're going to say, no, that's bogus. Right? But if you come in with humility and communication, authentic communication, you come in with this sort of truth, right? Arthur was a little page, all right? And you might think, oh, I need to be an emperor. This empress, that's why she's kind of like staying back a little bit, because I think this feminine intimidates you masculine, and so they're kind of they're regarding themselves. That's also in couples retreat, where the yoga instructor's like, please regard me. And he's like, what? Please regard me. He was like, don't touch my wife. Like, I feel like you're very protective over this feminine masculines. You're like, this is mine. This feminine is mine. Not in a creepy way. We don't give to that energy. There's not necessarily like a jealousy, but there is like a possessiveness, which is fixed energy for sure. There is a possessiveness here where it's like you have it in you too. And in couples retreat, the yoga instructor's like, then do it, then do it. It's like the universe is like, then do it. Like, you can do it. You've got it in you. Like, you've done the self-inventory. You know that you're good and honest, and you know that you're a protector, because the healer needs a protector. And with the temperance here, with the little, the little doctor thing, what the heck is that called? That thing, whatever it's called, put it in the comments below. Whatever that's called, it is like the third eye sight. So more Pisces energy, like this is divine sight. This feminine is tapped into that with the high priestess energy as the feminine aspect here of that Pisces energy. It's the high priestess, right? Which is, there's something kind of intimidating and mysterious about this feminine, but it's like you want to rise to the occasion. You want to be, but this little snake, this scorpionic energy here, the Native American zodiac for Scorpio is the snake. The snake is also represented by, the karmic cycle. Also in the medical field, it is the Caduceus, right? Caduceus and Medusa. That's a song. That's a rap song. Medusa. What is that? Anyway, rap song Medusa. Look it up. Or don't. Free will. Anyway, it's like you can do this. You know that you're capable of this, but for whatever reason, there's a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of apprehension. And it's, I think because you're a little bit nervous to say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Because my throat chakra is like, no, don't say it. And maybe you don't want to admit this, but it's like you're going to have to let go of everything before this. All past versions of yourself, any other connections you might be entertaining, any other behaviors you might be entertaining or giving energy to. For this type of love, you cannot give energy to those things because you're going to need all that energy to pour into this love. But this is not like any other past, connections or attachments that you've given energy to where you're going to pour into it, because this also might be part of your fears. You've poured into others and you haven't got anything poured back. With a matriarch of vegetables, with the matriarch of vessels, aka the Queen of Cups, she is the Queen of Cups. She always has enough to pour back into you. And this could also represent how this one has an empty one. You may have dealt with a feminine with stronger water sign, with water placements in her chart. And maybe they didn't pour back into you. maybe a past connection and this feminine have like similar placements. I've been getting vertigo all day, but I just got like a dizzy spell. So there is something that makes you kind of dizzy, and it's like Practical Magic, right? Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, where Nicole Kidman's, where she's like, I hope I never fall in love. Sandra Bullock's, the child version of her is like, I hope I never fall in love. And Nicole Kidman's child version is like, I can't wait to fall in love. And yeah, she gets involved with like a toxic guy, Angel Love. And Sandra Bullock casts a spell so that she never falls in love because no one's ever going to meet all these criteria. And so it's like she casts a spell. It's called Amos Veritas. And so she makes this spell, and she, something about flowers, like she plucks all the feathers. Maybe something about feathers. She plucks all the flower petals from the garden, and then she casts a spell out, and she calls in her soulmate. Little did she know. And so, like, he has different colored eyes, and he can ride a horse backwards, and he can flip pancakes, and like all these things that she thinks as a child, like, I'll never find this in a person. And then lo and behold, everything that she listed in that spell, she called it in. So she was trying to avoid love, but then guess what? Chicken butt. Something about chickens could be important here, because I was getting like pluck the feathers. Obviously we don't condone that here, because that is disgusting torture. We don't do that. But there is something like, you could have been kind of like self-torturing, like tar and feather, which is a practice for people who are like being publicly shamed. And so, yeah, you could have been like publicly shamed, or like felt a lot of shame around love, or about desiring this kind of love. Even though like secretly I feel like you go home and you're watching these romantic comedies, or you're like watching these really romantic things, listening to this music, and you're sort of dreaming of this love. But at the same time, through all your actions, your words, you're denying the love at the same time. You're denying the very thing that you want most. Well, guess what? The universe doesn't care about that. The universe is going to send you what you thought was not possible. You're about to get the love. If you haven't met this person already, you're about to meet them, and you're going to be like, oh snap. I was just kidding. Like, because you know that there's no going back. You can never be the lower version of yourself, which you don't really want to be that version of yourself anymore, but to release it is, it's like saying goodbye to an old friend, because you have been your own, like, it's like having that toxic friend that just keeps wanting to go out to the bar and everything, or they're just like, they just want to go out and like, what is that? Troll for the honeys or something, like they just want to, like, it's having that like childhood friend hasn't grown up. And you could be that childhood friend. You may literally have to go through that with somebody that you've been giving energy to. You may have to release somebody who's just not wanting to elevate. And that is tough. So you might not just be saying goodbye to an old version of yourself. You may be doing that with other people, siblings, friends, childhood friends, family members, right? But regardless, at the end of the day, it's mostly about the fact that you are going to have to kind of release that part of you. Like, you were a lot of fun while it lasted, but you can't come with me. And that does make me feel very sad, because it is like a energetic funeral. you may have lost a friend or lost somebody to like an overdose, or, you know, like to some sort of substance abuse, or, you know, some sort of reckless behavior that led to their actual death. But that's not going to be for everybody. Yeah, there are feelings of unworthiness. We have the 5 of Pentacles on your side and the 9 of Pentacles, which is like this is a feminine who's like, I take care of myself. This is like this 9 is the number of independence. And then we've got this perceived lack. Left out in the cold. Riff raff, street rat, I don't buy that. If only they look closer. There is mourning, 3 of Swords, and then the Star. So there is healing from this. Like, your healing is in this person, because when you give to a healer, oh man, it's like the fountain of youth. You will continue to heal. The healer needs protection. The feminine needs the masculine. So whatever storyline that you have, however maybe you've pedestalized this feminine, you've put them way up higher than you're willing to climb. And this feminine is like, don't do that. I'm just a person. And they actually have areas in their life where they feel this perceived lack. And I think it's in the lack of love. The lack of, because they have this mourning here. This sadness, this heartbreaking disappointment. Like, where is my love? And so it's like, you're actually going to heal this feminine. You're here to here to here to heal the healer. Yeah, with the Ace of Pentacles, that's, we keep getting that. You have so much more to offer than you think, masculines. You just have to bring the offer in. And this is just like Practical Magic, where he says, I wished for you too. See how they're coming out of the clouds? It's like you fabricated each other. You materialized each other into existence. You've made each other for each other. And you're going to work together with the 2 of Wands. Like 2 magicians, 2 halves of the same whole. You're going to come together and you're going to dig deep. Dig a little deeper. Frogs can be important here. The Frog Prince. The Fragibruto. The Fool. Yeah, feeling froggy? Because this is time to take, it's time to take a leap of faith, masculines. Defiance. 9 of Wands. The Wounded Warrior. This has been a long journey. It's not easy. It is, the divine path is not easy. It's simple. It's 1 + 1 = 2. Like, literally, it's one person and one person, you equal 2. That's the lovers, the two of cups. That is what you want. That is the union. It's also 4, right? When we're talking about wands, that's the 4 of Wands. That's the 1111 portal. That is the divine union. But it is not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it, right? The Fool is Aquarius and Aries energy. This is the one who takes the leap of faith. And you got this faith through all the work that you've done. So you've done the work, and there's a need to recall how far you've come and to sit with that understanding of how everything lined up for you to meet this person. So if you are ruminating on the past, if you're like, woe is me, if you're in this lack mentality of the 5 of Pentacles, if you're feeling like, but why didn't that work out? Or why, doesn't matter, it wasn't supposed to work out. And it actually, by it not working out, it worked out in your favor because it lined you up with this person. So do not, what is that? Something about a gift horse. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth or whatever. The shaman, the Hierophant. So we've got this high priestess and this high priest energy. This is a very spiritual connection. This is going to just nourish your spirit. And that's really what we need. You can have all the money in the world, Prince Ali Ababwa. But that's not what King of Cups. That is not agape love. That's 6. 6s are very important. You could be a life path 6. But that is not that agape love. You can have all the money in the world, and it does not. Who is that? If I was a rich girl, which is actually from Yentl. If I was a rich man, la 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 la. Oh, I'd have all the money in the world. And it's like, maybe you've always dreamed of having all the money in the world or being very like rich and powerful, and then you would find your person. Nope, you're meant to build that with this person. That fortune is only going to come from a spiritual alignment with your person. So, hopefully, masculine pursues, feminine receives. So, if you're waiting for this feminine to come in, they're not going to. They're in the Queen of Swords. They need that action. You pursue the feminine. That's how it goes. That's just energy, hon. I didn't make it up. I didn't make it up. I don't know, that was funny. Hopefully there was something in here for you, masculines. And until next time, I wish you well.